Hi, this is Marcia Baczynski, your dating and relationship coach, and I am here today to tell you about my new videos. I'm so excited to be doing videos. I am so enthusiastic because I am going to be answering all of your biggest relationship questions. Today's question is from Karen, and she wants to know, how can I tell the difference between a deal breaker and something I could compromise on? That's a great question and something I get a lot in my coaching practice. A lot of women have lists of things that they want in a partner, and they're wondering, can I have it all? What is it that really matters? Is this doable? And so what I always say is, you want to look at the things on your list and you want to ask yourself, what does this represent to me? So for instance, if you have on your list, say, smoking. I don't want my partner to be a smoker, let's say. Ask yourself, well, why don't you want that? What is it about smoking that you don't like? What is it that it represents to you? And usually people get really surprising answers from this kind of question because for some people it may be, well, I don't like the smell, or I'm allergic to the smell, or it's something on a physical level. For other people, smoking represents a sort of attitude in life that they don't necessarily want to be around. It's more of a symbolic reason that they don't want to be around smokers. Still other people, it's a health concern for themselves or for their kids or for their future kids. So it's a really useful thing to look at. Well, what is the thing that you don't want or the thing that you do want? And then to dig a little bit deeper and ask yourself, well, what is it that this really represents? Let's use another example. Let's talk about, say, you want somebody who's successful. That's something you don't want to compromise on, and yet it's a fairly vague term. What success means to me versus what success means to you could be really, really different. So when you're looking at the attributes that you want your partner to have, you may want to ask yourself, what do I mean by this word? What does that actually represent? Working with some of my clients, I've realized that sometimes we use the word success to mean achievement. Sometimes we use the word success to mean satisfied with the work that they do. Sometimes we use the word success to mean doing something in a particular field that we were raised to think that good partners should be, say a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant or something like that. So it's really important to take the time to understand what is it that your term actually means, that you're using to apply to somebody. Somebody could be very successful without necessarily having that success look like what you think success looks like. So what do you mean by success? Let's talk about compromise. So when should you compromise? When should you not compromise? That's a question that a lot of people ask, and Karen, I'm really glad you brought that up, because there are things that can look like we're on the same page on paper, but in reality we're not on the same page. And then there's things that sometimes look like we're not the same on paper, but in reality we are. Take, for an example, a woman who wants to marry somebody who is of her faith and raise her children in the same faith. She meets a man who isn't of the same faith, but is willing to convert. He takes his religion seriously, he takes her religion seriously, and what's more, they have a lot of other things in common about what they want in life. In this case, her marrying somebody who's willing to convert to her faith is probably preferable than meeting somebody who on paper it might be of her faith, but doesn't practice it and doesn't want the same things and doesn't actually care about it. So the values underneath, the things that are important to them, whatever to that particular couple in that example, are going to matter way more than what the labels you apply are. Labels are a really interesting thing when we talk about deal breakers and compromise, because we use labels to communicate things, but we don't necessarily mean the same thing when we use those words. So it's really important to dig down and find out, well, when he uses that word or she uses that word, what do they mean? And what do I mean when I say that? That's a really important thing that will help a lot in navigating whether you should compromise on something, and as well as whether something's a deal breaker. I hope this tip was helpful today. Again, this is my first video, so go easy on me. I'll get better at it as we go on. And please do send me your questions. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions, so if something in this sparks something for you and you want to ask me a question in person, contact me. My information is right here, and I would love to talk to you. All right, so that's enough for today, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks for watching.